Oh, okay. We're live. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Great. Welcome to my DVC Points. We're doing a little bit of a takeover here. Plus Shannon. So
I'll be Damon tonight.
That's. I mean,
All right.
I mean, you could do that if you want.
Should I get on Facebook while we're on the show? Okay.
You just get on Facebook and say how bored you are with what we're talking about, and then you'll be Damon. It's perfect. It's
exactly.
easy.
So if you don't listen to Welcome Home Podcast, you're not going to get the joke, but you got to listen to their podcast.
Yeah. So for those that don't know us, I'm Tom. I'm from Welcome Home Podcast, and we, Trevor's here too. Trevor's my partner in crime on Welcome Home, and Shannon is one of our listeners, but also one of the consistent hosts on this show, right? So
yeah,
so that's great. Yep. So Chad is at Disney right now, although I think he's on his way back. He just did like a weekend in Disney, it seems like.
Yes, and he was there for Marathon Weekend, but did not participate in Marathon Weekend.
He didn't run the marathon?
Did not. But he did ride Rise of the Resistance. So I'm anxious to hear how he thinks of it, what he thinks of it.
Yeah.
I know what he thinks of it, but I don't want to ruin it. So,
okay. I see we already got some comments going on in the comment section. So hi, Samantha.
We found Samantha.
Yeah.
Hey, and then Frozen 2 reference.
Come on, someone wants to know what the elusive Damon looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not sure.
Jody asks, if you see Damon, let us know, because we don't know what Damon looks like.
Ghost. He might not even exist. He might just be like an AI program that.
Yes. and then I have to acknowledge Jeremy here says hello to everyone. Jeremy is one of our longtime listeners on Welcome Home Podcast. So thanks for joining us on this one. Yeah.
Hey, Jeremy. And then we got Mark too.
And Mark's watching us, and Samantha and Mark are watching us on YouTube. So
awesome.
From Buffalo. It's probably quite cold up there. Although not as cold as where Trevor is, probably.
Yeah. Well, it's probably just as cold. We get the same weather as Buffalo. So
there you go.
I feel for you guys.
I won't tell you the temperature here.
It was 72 where I am today. So
yeah, it was in the 80s.
Yeah, it was kind of nice out today. I'm sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, very cold. He's saying it's very cold.
Yeah, I don't know what minus 27 is Celsius in Fahrenheit, but yeah, it's cold here too. So
I'm assuming it's probably still negative, right? It's probably still south of 0.
Yeah, something like that.
And I want to give a shout out to my friend Vanessa. She completed her first marathon today at the Disney Marathon. I texted her and she said it was hot and humid. And if you run a marathon, the last thing you want it to be is hot and humid. So I give her props for completing the marathon today. And she said she was ready for her next one, which I think I ran one in 2007, and that was my first and my last.
I think I read somewhere they had to modify the route today because the weather conditions were so hot and humid yeah, there was something where they had to. I don't know how modifying the route makes it less hot and humid, but I'm assuming they made it shorter somehow.
More shade, maybe.
I have a friend, Dave Mari, who's famous in RunDisney, and I met him at a Disney race in 2012, and we've been friends ever since. And he ran, I guess it's the Goofy Challenge, where they run all the races. And he finished the race. I guess he finished the race with a slushy, I guess a Grey Goose slushy from Epcot. So he's crossing the finish line with the balloon ladies behind him. So and they were sweeping the course. So they were sweeping the course literally right behind him. But he stopped and got a Grey Goose slushy.
That's the way to do it. Yeah. That's the way to do it right there. I mean, I want to say hey to John M that said hello from Allentown, PA, home of one of my favorite theme parks, actually, Dorney Park in Allentown, Pennsylvania. If you've never been there, that's a good, awesome park. But anyway, sorry, that's an aside.
No, it's
I've never done a marathon. I don't run, faster than if back in when you could. Well, I don't think you could ever really run at rope drop, but I remember Toy Story Midway Mania when that opened. Yes. They had to walk everybody back. Like all the cast members for the ride would slowly walk everybody, or else people would run and trample people, and it was terrible. But and that's why there's all the things we have in place now with virtual queues and such.
We did Early Morning Magic last year in Toy Story Land, and we were leaving as the rope drop crowd was coming in, and to see it from that angle is pretty incredible because you literally see the rope and you literally see And I was just like, this is why we paid the wave of people were like, this is why we paid money to avoid this.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So
well, I know Trevor's a big fan of. You did the after hours.
Yeah. We did the thing about the after hours is that's a little different because you see like as you're coming in, all the people are filing out of the park.
Which parks did you do? Which park did you do?
We did Magic Kingdom.
We did Magic Kingdom and we did Animal Kingdom. So,
which did you like better?
They're different. So Animal Kingdom, there's really 4 rides, right? So, and it was more of an adult vibe. It was freezing cold. I think it was, freezing cold for me. I'm from Miami. It was at 42 degrees, not freezing cold for you, but freezing cold. 42 degrees. We did, yes, we did Everest like 3 or 4 times. And I just remember at some point we're like, we should do some tequila shots. And we went, and there's a bar right there. We did some tequila shots in between the rides of Everest, which did make it a little warmer. And we got to ride Flight of Passage twice. So it was great, but it was a different feel where with Magic Kingdom, you were just trying, there's so many things you want to do. And it was our first time leaving our son with a sitter. We stayed at Bay Lake and just left him with a sitter and went to after hours. So we were trying to ride all the things that we couldn't ride with him. I think he was about 2 at the time. So it was just a different vibe. But both were great though. Yeah. We haven't done Hollywood Studios yet. I don't know if they're still offering it at this point.
I don't know. I think they're doing them in 2020, right? I think so.
Yeah, I haven't looked. We haven't. We're trying to hit up all the Moonlight Magics. The ones now that my son is over 3, we're trying to hit up the stuff that's free. So, speaking of Moonlight Magic, I got tickets for Magic Kingdom. Anybody else that are watching? Did anybody else get tickets for the Magic Kingdom Moonlight Magic? It opened up on Wednesday. Now, Tom, I know you're going to be in town, but you've decided not to go because of your little one, right?
Yeah. So, and plus I didn't have a reservation at the moment. And I did feel like doing a cash reservation. I can't speak. But, I was just thinking where my daughter's not going to get enjoyment out of it. So we just kind of figured maybe we weren't going to do that. And just, it's actually it's on the 21st, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That is my daughter's birthday. That's her second birthday. So funny enough, we actually have a Magic Kingdom day scheduled for that day. Because we're going to get her first haircut at the Harmony Barbershop. So
how nice.
Yeah, we're going to do the first haircut thing there. So it's going to be tough now for the next couple months because the hair is getting a little out of control. It really needs to cut. But we're not going to we got to keep it, we got to keep it there until we get there. But yeah, we just figured it just wasn't, we were concerned that we were going to book it and then the kid was going to be cranky and we were just going to not go.
Right.
And I'd rather just not book it and take the opportunity away from other people, because I saw somebody post in a group the other day that they had just booked a boarding pass for Rise of the Resistance just to see how it worked and then didn't go. And I'm like, that's just rude. There's so many people trying to get on this ride. Why would you do that? So it's the same thing with Moonlight Magic. And, years and years ago, we had I don't know if it was the first year they did Moonlight Magic, but it was the first year we were DVC members and we had tickets to Typhoon Lagoon one. And we were just tired. It was right in the middle of the trip and we were just exhausted. So we just bailed. We didn't go. And I felt really bad about it. But we all just kind of passed out in the hotel at 6:00,
Right.
So, and that was pre-kids.
Well, my son now stays up. So we went to the Christmas party and when we were leaving, he goes, what are we riding next? And we're like, we're going back to the hotel. So he's now a late owl. He at least at Disney he is. So nice. This will be his first Moonlight Magic. We've been to 2, but we always got a sitter. So this will be the first one we take him to. So we're actually just making a day trip of it. Leaving in the afternoon, going to pick him up from school. Drive up. That's the beauty of living 3.5 hours away, and go to that, and then come back and go back to. He's gonna have to go back to school. So
worth it.
So you're not staying in the park. You're going specifically for Moonlight Magic.
That's all we're going. Our annual pass is expired in December, so this will be. Yeah, we're gonna go. I think we can get in at 6, and the Moonlight Magic runs from 10 to 1, I think. I don't think we'll make it to 1, but we are staying our wait list came through for Copper Creek, which was shocking for a studio for one night. So we will just take the boat back. So we may make it to 1, who knows? And we'll make it to as late as we can and then drive back the next day. We'll probably, hopefully, if he sleeps in, we'll sleep in, but he doesn't really sleep in. They don't at that age.
Oh yeah. No, trust me. I understand. I wanted to ask John. John posted over here. Okay, this is weird. LOL. Why is it weird? Is it just because you're seeing Trevor and I in real life? Is that the weird thing? You've heard our voices for so long, and now you can see us talk. And then also, I want to point out Joe here, who said, "I think Welcome Home should do a live show." This is about as close as we're gonna get.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy it while it lasts. Not because we don't want to, we got to convince Damon to do it. And if we can convince Damon to do it, I want Damon to use a puppet. He's been talking about this puppet for a long time. We think it'd be funny if Trevor and I were live and Damon was a puppet, but but yeah, so let us know, John, why it's weird. We'd love to hear that. But what other topics do we have on the agenda, Shannon?
So actually here, I think,
or Trevor, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Before
well, I like Jeremy. Jeremy said apparently liquor is a secret weapon against cold weather and to finish a humid marathons. And yeah, I mean, I think liquor just cures everything, right?
So it makes everything better.
Secret weapon, full stop.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Secret weapon. I mean, it seems like a bad idea, though. I feel like humidity, liquor, and running just sound like a bad idea. That sounds like you're going to
end of the marathon.
Yeah.
Actually, they give you they serve beer because beer helps in recovery.
Really?
From a marathon. I don't know why. I personally cannot drink beer because I can't eat gluten, so it has gluten in it. But they actually serve beer. Any of the races, they serve beer because it helps in recovery. I don't know why, but there is some scientific proof to it. So I'm told. So.
I just feel like if I were drinking and running and in the heat, that I'd be making a trip to like the bushes of one of the resorts at some point. For whatever you can imagine, that might be. It could be a lot of things.
Yeah. The news story, and you get kicked out, and
banned from Disney for life. So I'm just going to avoid that altogether.
For RunDisney, my personal favorite. I'm not a runner, but I don't mind running, and I like running the RunDisney races. The 10K is the perfect race because it's 6.2. You feel like you did something, and it's enough of a run, but you're not. You can walk that day and you can walk the next day, where I think the half marathon, it's half marathon and forget the marathon. It's pushing it. so kudos to everyone who did a race. But I know a couple people that did. I know a girlfriend of mine did her first 5K. So she made it, and it was a goal of hers. She's never run before. So kudos to her and everybody who did a RunDisney, especially in the hot and humid weather. So.
Yeah, really, for sure. I give kudos to anybody that can do that kind of stuff because I know my wife has a friend who was doing 3 of the races. I don't know whether just 3 races. I'm not up on the RunDisney stuff. I'm not going to lie.
4, I think.
Okay, I know she was doing 3.
A half marathon and a marathon.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That's a lot of running.
It's a lot of money, too.
Oh, yeah, that's that, too.
I mean, the RunDisney races are not cheap.
Well, that's why they have the new membership, right? New member
for $800, you can.
That's the most expensive one.
Yeah.
I think the cheapest one's like $200 or something like that.
$250. It's still pretty steep.
Well, you get a jacket. For me, I'm not paying for it. So.
Yeah,
I don't care how much it costs. It can be as much as it wants to be. I'm not paying for it.
So you got an answer from John on the comment. By the way. John says, seeing and hearing you under my DVC points is like resort hopping. So I guess kind of like we have the wait list. This is the resort hop.
And the pool hopping restriction is Damon not being here. So Damon's not allowed to pool hop into this because he doesn't want to. So he said he was going to watch it tonight, but this is past his bedtime. So
yeah,
going to have to watch the replay.
That's all right.
So anyway,
so we've completely, gone off topic like we always do.
I was like, what is the agenda?
Yeah.
Well, so listen, actually, if there's any listeners of our show here, they understand, right?
Yeah.
So
we do have here. Let me just pop this up here so everyone can see what the questions are that we agreed on ahead of time.
Oh, okay.
So Moonlight Magic 2020 was on there. countdown shares. Actually, let's back up a little bit here and let's go to countdown shares, because I want to hear who has trips going on soon. I know obviously Tom and Shannon, you guys are coming up in April. My next trip's not until October, which is kind of far away, but I'm sure it'll get here pretty quick. And with that will come Moonlight Magic. So,
and actually have a Disney cruise 6 weeks from tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
So I'm really looking forward to that. It's our second Disney cruise, and it's a one with Marvel Day at Sea.
Oh, so, fun.
Yeah, we used to cruise a lot before our son, and this will be our second Disney cruise. So I'm excited.
That sounds like a good time.
So where does this one go? I'm
so
not
it leaves out of Miami. So we're about 35 miles from the port of Miami, so super close. And it has the first day is at sea, which is the Marvel Day at Sea. Then it's Key West, Castaway Key, Nassau, and then back to Miami. So it's a 5-night. So it's only one day at sea. We'll probably get off in Key West. I think the plan is to rent a golf cart and just go around Key West a little bit. And then Castaway Key, we're really excited because the last time we went was for our son's first birthday. And it rained. So we didn't see much of Castaway Key. Plus, he was just one. So there really wasn't much to do. And we went back to the ship right before it started pouring. So we were only at Castaway Key maybe 90 minutes to an hour, 3 to 2 hours. And then Nassau, we won't even get off. We'll stay on the ship because we've been there so many times. So we won't even bother getting off. We'll enjoy the ship, which will be the last day. So we'll make that kind of like a sea day.
Well, it must be nice. It must be easy for you to do a Disney cruise, right? Because you're right there. You just have to drive down the road, and get to the port, right?
We did Port Canaveral. So the first one we did was on the Dream. It was 3 nights. Like I said, it was for our son's first birthday. We really weren't sure what it was going to be like to cruise with him. So we went. I wanted to do Disney with him, and we realized, we're going to only leave out of Miami or Fort Lauderdale because to have to drive home, we're just so spoiled with the only other time we left outside of Miami was when we did a Mediterranean cruise. So that was a kind of completely different experience. But to get off the ship and have to drive home wasn't fun, and it was just not something we were used to. So we're used to like driving home as you're home in like 45 minutes. So
nice.
Yeah. So we're excited about that.
Should we go through some of these countdowns?
Yeah, there's a couple. There's some that are John's like in 20 days.
Yeah. Mine is 98 days, by the way. And I know that because I looked at the DVC website today. So 98. Okay.
And then we see Samantha there's 115 days.
And Samantha, I think you were just there. I want to say she was just there recently. So I think she was there like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think I saw on Facebook. So
okay. And then Gina is July for Walt Disney World. I believe Gina is on the West Coast.
Gina's our Disneyland correspondent for Welcome Home. Yeah.
So that's exciting. And John gets
10.
10. Oh, I'm jealous. I wish I could be there in 10 days. We got Holly's going in 6 days to Copper Creek.
Jealous.
Yeah.
About Copper Creek and 6 days. I'm jealous about both.
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
And then let's see, who else do we got? Grant says he's going February 14th.
And you're doing a Star Wars Day at Sea cruise.
That's fun. That's a fellow Canadian, Trevor.
Yeah, I get the need to escape that Canadian cold right now. Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, we got a couple more at the bottom there too.
We got Mike Hill at 169 days, open for Epcot Moonlight Magic. That would be sweet. I think there's going to be a lot going on in Epcot this year, so that would be a pretty exciting Moonlight Magic. And Stephanie, 376 days for their first Disney cruise. So So that'll be January next year again, which is probably a good time to get away from the cold.
Yeah, for sure.
And a good time to go to Disney.
Yeah.
And then Gina has a cruise planned in October for Halloween on the high seas, which I've heard. And then James is in 5 days. So I think James wins.
James. Yeah. Oh, James.
I want to know what James is eating in that picture because it looks delicious, whatever it is. Yeah. I don't know. It looks large and delicious. So that's great.
Awesome.
Well, speaking of that, we talked about the next. We already talked about Moonlight Magic. So you mentioned there's going to be a lot of things going on at Epcot. And somebody mentioned the Moonlight Magic at Epcot. So I guess that can lead into our next topic, which was Space 220 restaurant.
Oh, yes.
So who's excited about that? I'm really excited. I had hoped it was going to be opened in December for our trip. It obviously wasn't. I'm really excited. I think any new restaurant, something new at Epcot is much needed.
Does anybody else have a problem? I keep calling it Space 2020. It's my brain cannot do 220. It's just not working.
Does anybody else think it's going to open on February 20th? Because that's kind of where I'm leaning. But
that would be the perfect day to open.
Amazing.
Yeah,
they should. I mean, the rumor is February. Apparently, there was some job listings that said it was opening in February. Listen, I don't care as long as it's open by April. That's all I care about because I want to go. That's the only thing I care about is going. So I said this, I think I said this a couple days ago. I care about like 3 different things for my next trip: Space 220, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and what was the third one? Oh, Rise of the Resistance.
Just that little ride. Yeah.
Yeah, you might have heard of it. It's a little obscure, but yeah.
So Brandy, I'll bring this up real quick because you figured this one out.
She's either trolling me or she's asking a serious question. I'm not sure which.
Okay. So if you listen to Welcome Home in the past, Tom commented on Space 220, and then he was like, "What does the 220 stand for?" And then immediately after read that it's a space station 220 miles above Earth, which is what 220 stands for. So that is the actual answer. Is Space 220 means 220
miles.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm an idiot. So I mean, I didn't realize it immediately. And to be fair, neither one of you realized it.
I didn't know either until you read it, and then it was like, oh, that's what it means.
Yeah. I just didn't go. Even when I read it, I didn't even have an idea of what it was. But listen, it's cool nonetheless. I'm psyched about it. I just want to go in that little elevator that makes you look like you're going away from Earth, right?
Yes. And so I know I've heard some comments from people about how many people are going to get motion sick from that. I'm a little concerned about that because my wife does have vertigo, and something like that could be
I'm sure there's a way to get around it. I'm sure there's a way to not do that.
Got to be stairs somewhere, right?
Yeah,
like a lot of stairs,
or just an elevator with the scene turned off.
Well, it's just like with Haunted Mansion. You can avoid the stretcher room if you want to. So I'm sure there's a way to, avoid it.
And why would you want to avoid the stretching room? I don't. I know, but
I did it last time only because of my daughter who fell asleep on the ride anyway. So who cares? I'm gonna bring her in the stretch room this next trip, though. I'm determined to see what happens because she's not afraid of the dark at all. So I think she'll be okay.
My son loves it, and he's been riding it since he was. I think the first time we took him on was 14 months. He actually fell asleep in the stretching room. So at 14 months, at some point. Yeah,
that's my daughter's fallen asleep in it now twice. So it's fine. She'll eventually, learn to enjoy it. But so for you guys, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like there needs to be at least 2 menu items at Space 220 to make this a legit restaurant. Okay, there has to be a Tang flavored item somewhere. Okay, maybe you can make it as like a sauce or like some sort of glaze. It could be a dessert. Has to be there. And then also we were talking about space ice cream, which, you could do. Yeah, you could do Dippin' Dots, right? Yeah, you could do Dippin' Dots. I'll take Dippin' Dots, but like homemade Dippin' Dots somehow, right?
Actually, we did a dessert party at Hollywood Studios one time, and they were serving ice cream that they were dropping into liquid nitrogen.
They did that at the frozen dessert party too.
Yeah, so if they had something like that on the menu, I think really what they need to do is make sure it's it's supposed to be about space and all that, but really just very sciencey kind of meals would really do them well. Like things that you don't see every day and requires a little bit of chemical magic, so to speak, to get it to work.
I just had an idea, Trevor. I had an idea. They need to do that table side. You order that, and they bring out a cart, and they do it table side, and like it goes everywhere. I mean, how cool would that be?
Yes, I think that would be awesome.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Be very busy.
Okay,
it would be.
All right, so let's put this out to the listeners as well. You know, we've been talking about this. What do you guys want to see from this restaurant? Because you know, we obviously have our own ideas. I think Tom's idea about the Tang, the Tang dessert menu.
Tang.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be dessert. It could be a glaze. It could be a sauce. I'm cool with that too.
Duck à l'orange, but with Tang or something like that.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly what you should do. Yeah, exactly. Right. And do we know what the menu's gonna? I don't think they've really said what the menu's gonna be like. Right. My assumption is going to be like international, right? Because it's probably going to be like an international type.
They said it's going to be international cuisine. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that would make sense, right?
Okay. That can be anything.
Yeah. That's a really great term for. We'll just throw a whole bunch of different kinds of dishes there, and see what happens. Right? So I'm excited though. Like I said, that is a main reason we are going in April, besides the fact that our passes are expiring and that we're DVC members, and this trip will only cost us the cost of food. So, and to get there, of course, right?
Yeah.
So I'm excited though. I can't wait for this.
That's how they get you with the annual passes, because we had so many trips last year because we had annual passes. We let them lapse. We probably won't get them again until December, so it will cover our 2 long December trips. So that's why we're hitting up a lot of Moonlight Magics this year, because they're free. But they get you with those annual passes because you do kind of like, well, let's just go one more time. We got to use those passes. It's free, kind of, not really.
True.
So Jeremy was asking if Space 220 is going to be a signature or 2-credit restaurant, and we don't know that yet, do we? I haven't seen anything.
Surprised if it's going to be signature, but I mean,
I would too.
Yeah.
I will say I looked it up on the app, because it is on the app already, and it says unique dining, so it doesn't say signature there.
Okay.
Where it would normally say signature, so I'm guessing that it doesn't feel like a signature type of environment.
I agree.
Yeah.
So I didn't see what was on next on the agenda.
Here, let me just go back to it real quick.
While you're doing that, I just want to point out, Garrett said Tom and Trevor look like the opposite. I thought in my head, meaning that you thought that I look like what Trevor. Okay, I don't know. I'm trying to figure. Maybe it's because I have a beard. I feel like your voice sounds like it has a beard, and I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
Apparently, Jody and James both agree with Garrett on that one.
I mean, it's fair. I mean, it's okay.
So maybe what we need to do, kind of like how Damon has the puppet, is that we'll just swap our faces. Like we'll swap images, and then everything will be right.
So, like, listen, my wife has said many times she finds your voice to be very soothing and relaxing, whereas I'm sure she finds mine to be grating and annoying. So maybe if we could switch voices, that would be great. I think that would be great for my marriage. She seems to like your voice a lot. So,
well, having worked at the Royal Bank of Canada for several years, when I listen to your podcast and I hear the Canadian, the A, and
the terms,
it just brings back memories. So
I know you all say I have a Canadian accent. I don't hear it, but
it's not even an accent, because like sometimes it's just certain words. Like you'll say like queue up for things instead of line up, which like I would say line up. I wouldn't say queue up for something. Like it's just like certain little terms like that and it's just different, right? It's just different ways to say things. Because we, all over the United States, they say things in, different ways. So, but yeah, you don't have that much of an accent.
Yeah. And I guess, maybe being from Alberta, maybe that helps. I don't know.
Yeah.
So our next topic was, the 20% off.
Oh, that's right.
That we're getting from DVC now at Joffrey's Coffee. So I guess my thing is I don't drink coffee really at all, let alone at Disney. So this discount is not useful to me, but it does spark a good question of, if this isn't a good promotion for DVC to use, what is a good promotion, or what would you guys like to see them do in the future?
Do a discount for instead?
Yeah.
Or, in addition to, I should say.
I mean, I don't think I've ever drank coffee, or maybe once or twice at Disney Springs. But I think any discount, anytime they're adding discounts, is great. It maybe would give me make me more likely to go, we get 20% off, let me go there. But I think anytime they're adding discounts, that's great, even if they're not a benefit to me. So, I think with the restrictions of Riviera, and if they're not going to see, I don't know anything, if they're not seeing sales pick up, they're going to have to start giving more perks and making the perks more attractive because, I don't see them pulling. Everybody keeps saying, oh, when are they going to pull these restrictions away? I don't see them doing that. I think they've dug their heels in the sand, and they're here for the long haul. So they're going to have to make the membership perks more appealing. So that's my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth.
Personally, so I would like to see we kind of get discounts on the website, like occasionally, like on Shop Disney, but not really. Like I would like to see our DVC discount that we get in the stores, a little more widely available, I'd say.
Yeah.
I think that would be nice. I don't drink coffee either. I've never been to Joffrey's before, so I couldn't comment on it. But they sell like pastries at Joffrey's, because I'd rock a pastry for 20% off. I mean, why not, right? I don't know. I'm not a Joffrey's person. Or Starbucks even, really. I see somebody mentioned to get a discount at Starbucks, but I mean, I don't know.
That would be a big one for a lot of people. But Marianne also says, so she was asking what the deal is with the Joffrey's deal. It's just 20% off at any Joffrey's location. But then she goes on to say, will it cover the alcohol? I didn't know that Joffrey's served alcohol.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Do they throw some alcohol in some coffee occasionally?
You can get Bailey's in your coffee, I guess. Ooh. Yeah,
maybe I'd drink some coffee then.
Yeah. The only time I've had coffee with alcohol was in Norway, where they had the Viking coffee.
What is Viking coffee? How did I miss that?
I don't know. It was spiked. It was the only thing that I could find that wasn't beer the night of Moonlight Magic, because everything in World Showcase was closed. So it was cold. So we had the Viking coffee.
The one time I drank around the world. Okay, well, I drank around the world twice, but we failed the first time. And the reason why we failed the first time was specifically because of Norway. And we got to Norway, and my sister-in-law decided she was going to ask the Norwegian people working there, hey, we're drinking around the world, what should we drink? And I think I saw the cast members whisper something to each other and then like giggle a little bit, and they were like, oh, we're going to make them drink the thing that we don't even drink. And it was spiced potato vodka. As a shot.
Uh-huh. You never had potato vodka before?
Oh, I have, but it was just it was hot and outside, and just that shot just did not go down well. And plus, it's I'm not in college anymore. I can't do shots of vodka all day. So it just didn't sit well with any of us. So, but I think they were messing with us. But yeah, no, I think it would be nice to have more merchandise discounts. I like the discounts we get in park, at the various merchandise locations. That's nice. But, of course, it'd be nice to have a discount on tickets besides our annual pass one. I mean, we've had them in the past occasionally, but
I'm waiting for that gold. You get the platinum plus for the gold again. I mean,
yeah, that was great.
I'm kicking myself. I didn't buy more at the time because I was a brand new member at the time. So I just thought this was something they offered all the time. I didn't realize it was like the 25th anniversary of DVC, and it was something special. So we got them, but we, obviously they've expired by now. But I would love to see discount on cruises. I don't think that'll ever happen, but it'd be nice to offer a little something for DVC members off the cruises.
Mm-hmm. So we do have some of our listener comments. So Mark says you would love for them to give a better discount at signature meals or maybe cash stay discounts. Those are both good ideas. So.
We have one for Riviera right now, right? So
yeah.
Sorry, Trevor.
Well, I was going to say, we do get some meal discounts, but expanding that wouldn't be a bad idea. Jeremy, I do like $1 bottled water. I mean, yeah, there's lots of times that, I know you can buy bottled water from like Publix or wherever, but being able to get something for cheap in the parks and when you need it, that would be appreciated. What else?
And I don't need a $1 bottle of water when I can go to the freestyle machine in the DVC lounge and drink to my heart's desire. Okay, so
yeah, but then you gotta go all the way to the lounge, though. I mean, that doesn't help me when I'm in Animal.
There's only one. How about that? More DVC lounges.
Lounges everywhere. I'll pay. Up my dues right now. I will pay more in dues for lounges at every park. Do it.
Okay, just so we're clear, Tom is okay with his dues going up, so he can pay for that. I'm not upping my dues.
Pay for all of it.
I mean, they could put it where Stitches escape. That's empty.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, that would be a beautiful spot too, because that's like central to Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
And you would have, you could have a nice view of, like they could put windows on the second floor so you can actually see like the castle and everything. That would be, I like that.
I think all the DVC members want more lounges. And I think most of us would be willing to pay a little bit more for it. Not like a lot. I mean, they wouldn't have to like up it that much for all of us. I mean, just a little bit. Just a little tight. Just a little tight. Yeah. How much does it really cost them to maintain that lounge?
Yeah. But it isn't like we used it this last trip. We met up with a friend and went up there, and they're like, "Oh, we're not members." It's like, "Okay, you're with us. You're fine."
Okay. So I took my parents too, and they thought it was amazing.
Well, it's great. When you have a toddler and he's just like, put him in front of the TV and let him watch cartoons for 20 minutes while you just, had some hot chocolate. It was really nice. It was really cold that day, so it was nice to just kind of warm up a little. Again, cold for me, not cold for you. But it was just nice to have somewhere to go and sit back and relax and kind of just let him, get some energy out. So it was nice.
I'll never forget. We took my in-laws. I think it was like our second trip using points, and we went to Top of the World, and we took them up there. And when you go to Top of the World, it's kind of like, you get the little private person that goes into the elevator with you, scans a thing, and presses the button. It feels very VIP.
Right.
And then we get to the top, and my father-in-law looks at me and he goes, "How much did you guys pay for this?" And I didn't know how to take it. Like, I didn't know if he meant that, like, did you guys pay a lot for this or pay? Like, I wasn't sure if he was impressed or not. But,
right.
I mean, it's an impressive place to go up to with the view you get and all that. But so I took it that way, as it was like, oh, man, this is pretty cool for whatever you guys paid for this. But yeah, no, the lounges are awesome. I was looking at pictures of the D23 Club 33 location at Animal Kingdom. Mm-hmm. And did you guys see that? Trevor, did you see the pictures of that?
No,
that
not yet.
Okay, so like it's off into like a corner, right? It's right by the bathrooms for the Lion King show. But walking by there, I'm just thinking to myself, how many people are going to look at that and go, "Oh, I want to go in there"? Like, what's that? Is that a restaurant I can go into? Like, they're going to just have to have a cast member standing there all the time, just going, "No, you can't come in here." Like,
kind of like they do at Epcot. I mean, there's somebody at the bottom of the stairs, telling people, "No, unless you have a card, you're not coming up."
Yeah.
Oh man, wait. We gotta call out what Derek just said.
I know. Well, Derek has an interest.
So
what? What? Derek is biased.
So Derek, our friend Derek is from DVC Resale Market. So thanks for joining us tonight, and thanks for the encouragement. And yeah, having member lounges that are accessible to people that purchased resale, that would be a cool perk. And I mean, obviously Derek would really love that a lot.
Resale equality, right?
Yeah.
This is what we should be working towards. No, I mean, that would be nice. I think everybody, I mean, I don't think we should treat resale people all that different anyway, but DVC thinks otherwise.
Some of us are both. So
that's, I mean, hey, right here. Yep. I mean, all of us are both. Yeah, right. You get the blue card, and you get the, the cheaper contracts.
And I think the only, besides Moonlight Magic, which we have attended, the only other perk we've used is the lounge. So, is it worth the thousands of dollars you spend extra? No.
I don't know. The freestyle machine is worth it to me, I think.
that $1,000 freestyle machine.
Right. Thousands of dollars for that freestyle.
But I was very fortunate. I was able to get in at the 25 points add-on mark.
Oh, yes.
So I didn't have to. I think now it's 100 points. So, I got in when it was only 25 points, which was fine. So I don't think I would do it now at 100 points. Definitely not at Riviera. Nothing against Riviera. It's not, I think it's not for my family. I've said this before. I think it's a beautiful resort. The Skyliner's amazing. We stayed at Pop in October. Skyliner, I think is amazing, but it's for adults. And I think maybe in 18 years when my son hopefully is out of the house, I've got some time. He's only 4. So, but it's not, I don't think it's for a family with a toddler. And, so I think that's great.
It's so funny you say that because my stepmother, who came with us on our last trip, had never been to Disney before, right? So it was her first trip. And she said to us over Christmas, she was like, so next time we go to Disney with you guys, I have a few requests. And it's like, okay, what? She's like, let's have like 3 or 4 rest days. I'm like, okay, that's a lot. And then she was like, can we stay at a resort that has less children at it? And I'm like, it's going to be tough. Yeah. But to your point, Riviera feels like that kind of resort. Even though, of course, there's still going to be a lot of kids there, but Riviera just feels like that kind of resort that's going to be more for.
And I see where DVC is going with that, because if you look at the DVC inventory, there really wasn't a resort that was geared towards adults. Grand Floridian is an add-on, and there's a lot of kids there. Polynesian, It was an add-on. It's a lot of kids. So there really wasn't a resort that was more. And I think this one was built that for adults, and not that kids aren't welcome. And there's stuff, people are like, oh, well, there's stuff for them to do. And there is, but there isn't a playground. There isn't a community hall. And if you have a toddler, those are key. And the pool is nice, but the pool is nothing. I was very disappointed with the pool. I think they had the opportunity to make a really nice beach club quality pool, and they did it. And I think that was disappointing. I think if they had this really amazing pool, then I think people would be knocking on the door saying, what resale restrictions? But the pool is just okay. So I think that was somewhat disappointing.
I'm not going to lie. I'm actively waiting for them to release some more points to see if I can snag one for April. I only want to. Well, I want to stay there for one reason and one reason only, and that's the Skyliner, because it's just the best, and I want them to put it everywhere, and I just want to stay there for that.
So that's to not have to fold up a stroller and wheel it into the Skyliner is awesome. So
it is. It's fantastic.
It's awesome. And I think at 2, it's not a bad resort with a 2-year-old. With 3 and a 4-year-old, it's a little bit different, because they're just, the older they get, the more active they get. And they get opinions, which is shocking. My son tells me, no, I want to go ride this. And I'm like, but that's not in my itinerary. It's not in the touring plan.
Sorry, I had to just adjust my mic. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Just don't pay attention to what I'm doing right now.
Okay? It's not good.
We're not used to video at Welcome Home Podcast here. Some steps had to be taken.
Or live shows.
That's also true. This is why we don't do live shows, guys. Okay. All right. We're cool now.
So Mark pointed out his feeling, and I can kind of see this for Riviera, is that the Disney design is that they look like casinos. And if you think about recent casino hotels, like in Vegas and whatnot, I can see where he's coming from with that one. So, and that also does lend to your point about it being a little more adult centric, I guess, or feeling like it's more of an adult resort than the like staying at Wilderness Lodge or somewhere like that.
Right. Well, I'm curious to see what they're going to do with Reflections, because where are they going to go with that?
I mean, the concept art I've seen that came out of for it looked very highly Disney themed. It looked like they finally blended that super modern hotel look with also Disney, right? Because Riviera feels just super modern and doesn't have the Disney theming. But the concept art I saw for Reflections, now the first piece that came out was just the outside, and I saw some people that said it looked like a dorm. But it was an incomplete picture, right? I mean, it's just one picture. But then you start to see some of the room designs come and some of the other things, and I mean, it looks like that combination of upscale and Disney-fied hotel. So yeah, I don't know. I'm also like, Riviera for me is a little too fancy. Mm-hmm. Like, my wife and I are not fancy people. Like, on our honeymoon, we ate, I think it was it was a Jico, right? This is true. Okay. I'll embarrass myself and tell this story because we already did one of these. We're not fancy people. We're just not. And so we're at Gico, and in between courses, they brought out like little hot towels. And I looked at the waiter and I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? And he laughed. He laughs thinking I'm joking. I'm like, no, really, I don't know what to do with this. Why are you giving me this? This is take it away from me. So I'm not a fancy person. I'm not, and it just feels. It feels a little too much for me. I like Wilderness Lodge and the kind of, which is fancy, but it's like rustic fancy, So
well, my husband's obviously watching because he commented, Ray. He commented Old Key West for life, and we stayed there in December, and he is all in for Old Key West. It was the first time he goes, this felt like a vacation. It felt like a vacation. Now we do have a car, so I think if you have a car, that makes a difference. But it was great, and the size of the rooms, we had a 1-bedroom. Yeah, it was really nice.
Marianne saying,
yeah, I know, I saw that.
See, I think it sounds more like a rehab facility, like reflections, like it's gonna be said in a soft voice. Yeah, reflections. It's got to be a spa there, right? So,
yeah. And I got to shout out to Mark here. I mean, yeah, Poly is the best resort. You can't change my mind.
Yeah.
Trevor, if he could, would have a license plate that said Poly for life. Like he doesn't even want to go anywhere else.
I could probably get that in Alberta.
You probably could, yeah. Poly for life.
And I think that's the good thing about DVC is that everyone's going to have their favorite. Everyone's going to have their least favorite, but there's something for everybody. So that's why when I say that Riviera is not for my family now, that doesn't mean I don't think it's a good resort or I don't think it's a beautiful resort. Absolutely. It's just not for my demographic at this time. Like I said, 15, 18 years when my son is hopefully out of the house and my contract's still good, then I can, hopefully use our points and find some points at Riviera. So, I
mean, we're trying to stay at every resort, right? So like we're trying to stay at every single resort. We've got like 4 or 5 left. Although now it's 5 with Riviera, I guess. But we're staying at Saratoga, which we've never stayed before. We did just stay at Old Key West last year, which we liked. And I know Saratoga is kind of similar in just the fact that it's so spread out and feels very golf coursey and such. But and I've been to Saratoga before. Just we've done the spa there, and of course the DVC center there. A friend of mine is a DVC guide, so we've stopped there to say hello and stuff like that. But I've never stayed there, so I'm interested in staying there. And as much as I want to like get out of my Saratoga reservation, kind of looking forward to checking it out. I'm interested. Mm-hmm. So. I will say the cool thing about Old Key West is I felt like because I feel like you're very centrally located at Old Key West. I feel like all the bus rides were similar length. You know what I mean? Like nothing was too far or, it was kind of in the middle of everything. Like everything was a 15-minute bus ride. We
also had a great location. We were in building 62, which is right next to the hospitality house, but not in the hospitality house designation for reservations. So we were close to the first and the last bus stop. So when we were going, we would leave out of hospitality house. And then when we come back from the park, I think it was Peninsula Road. So we were always the first or first one on or last one on or first one off. So which was great.
Everybody complains about the buses at Saratoga and Old Key West, but when we stayed at Old Key West, we didn't get on a single bus where we didn't have seats and everybody on the bus had seats. We weren't on one of those buses where all of us were standing and, holding, everybody's basically relying on each other to not fall over every time they hit the brakes. We didn't have one of those. It was every single time everybody had a seat. So I don't know, because everybody always complains about the buses, and I was prepared for terrible buses.
Well, we own at Saratoga, and we've yet to stay there. So.
Well, it's Damon. Well, no, Damon stayed there. Damon stayed there. Okay.
And it's not because I'm trying to avoid it. It's just I know there will be a time where we have to stay there, where we're not going to be able to find anything else. So we're already booked for December, and we'll try and switch it 7 months. And if we don't, we'll stay at Saratoga. Now they're going already through the refurbishment, so hopefully we would be able to get a refurb room. But, I just know that at some point we're not going to be able to switch. So, we try and switch, and we've been lucky. I mean, we've been lucky every single time. So, but I haven't stayed at Kidani. We haven't stayed at Grand Floridian, the villas. We've stayed at the hotel side, but not the villas. I'm trying to think where else I'm sure there's other places we haven't stayed, but yeah, we've stayed at quite a few, but we do a lot of like 2 or 3 day trips, so we're very fortunate.
I think the only ones I have left are Riviera, Grand Floridian, Copper Creek, which I feel like doesn't really count because I've stayed at Wilderness Lodge like 100 times.
We stayed at Boulder Ridge, and we have a day trip coming up to Copper Creek, so we'll cash that one in.
There you go. You'll check that one off. Right. And I also haven't stayed at Beach Club yet. That's another one that's on my list. And of course Riviera. I have not stayed there yet. So
Grand Californian.
That doesn't count.
We've stayed there, and we've stayed at Vero. So we haven't done Hilton Head, and Alani. So
you got to do Hilton Head. Hilton Head's amazing.
Really.
Hilton Head has the best cast members, and I know there will be some people that will comment on this. Hilton Head has the absolute best cast members I have ever encountered anywhere. They are fantastic. The resort, needs a refurb, which I think it's coming up for one in the next year or two here, I believe, if I remember the condo association meeting. But it's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous resort. Hilton Head's an amazing place, but the cast members there are just amazing. They're fantastic cast members there. So you definitely should stay there. I've not stayed at Vero Beach. I was counting only the WDW ones. I wasn't counting that. But yes, I have not stayed at Grand California, Trevor. Okay. It's
well, it's very nice. And if you stay at Wilderness Lodge, you'll love it. But
it's
some pictures. Yeah.
And Disneyland is different because talk about a Disney bubble. It's a Disney bubble because if you're staying on property, because you don't have to take a bus. It's awesome.
So buses are part of the magic. Sorry, Trevor.
Although it wasn't a DVC room, the last time we stayed at the Grand Californian, our room was right above the exit to California Adventure. So like we literally walked out the room, went down the stairs, and we could walk straight into the park, which that's unreal. Like it's cool. It's so crazy.
Well, we were overlooking where World of Color would have been, but at that point it was still out, and it came back in service, I think, like 2 weeks later. After, so we would have been able to,
you still get the wheel and everything, and
it was, and my son just loved it, and he loved looking out the window and seeing the big wheel in the morning and stuff. But it was an amazing view, but it was disappointing that but it gives us an excuse to go back. So we're trying to plan that trip until Alani, but we'll definitely do that together.
Yeah, if they ever build a resort like Grand Californian at like the entrance of Epcot, as we've heard rumors about for years, and there's DVC in there, I am buying it. I will buy direct because that would be amazing, right?
I think for the question, we talked about the Disneyland DVC. I asked you guys for your show, and Damon was not into it. He's like, yeah, you guys can talk about it. But I asked what your thoughts were on the DVC Disneyland rumor.
I'm seriously eyeing it because obviously we're actually closer to the West Coast than the East Coast. So having DVC on the West Coast, we were actually going to look at Grand Californian when we were buying points, but just because of how expensive they were at the time, it didn't make sense for us because for the same amount of points, we could go to the East Coast and have it was actually more cost effective for us to go to the East Coast versus the West Coast. But I think if they offered DVC there and price wise, if it was closer to what we have now, same as Tom, I would be jumping on that because having points on both coasts would be the perfect scenario for me.
Well, I'm just thinking though, right? So Grand Cal is going for a ridiculous price right now, right? Direct. I wonder what this new resort's going to even start at. It's going to probably have a high starting price, don't you think? I mean,
I think it'll be above 200 a point. But I don't think they can make the point charts more than Grand Californian, because the point charts for Grand Californian aren't horrible. As I think Riviera was worse. I mean, I haven't compared them, so I really don't know. But I don't think the point charts. Now we went in January, which was slow season, but I think they would have to make the point charts less than the Grand Californian because the Grand Californian is.
Yeah, you're right. It does come. you would have to really think about not just, the cost per point, but also how many points it's costing you per room, right?
That's the thing about the Riviera, where the points, I mean, the tower, I'm comparing. So we have a trip in October, and I was kind of comparing, we're now booked at Saratoga, where could we move for more or less the same amount of points or less? And I think Old Key West Studio and the Tower Studio are the same amount of points.
That's crazy.
And I mean, it's like, do you want to stay in a closet with not a real bed? I mean, it's a real bed, but it's not a real bed.
It's a Murphy bed. Yeah.
I've heard those beds are very comfy.
The Murphy's beds are great when it's a secondary bed, but it's a tight space. Now it's fine on a cruise ship, but it looks really. Or I personally would rather stay at Old Key West and have to take a bus than stay in a closet and take the Skyliner personally. But I know, but again, I can't, it's not even an option for us because we have a 4-year-old. So it's not even an option for us. But the point charts for Riviera are really, really high. They're very, very close to Grand Floridian. So
I noticed that because I was doing the exact same thing you were doing, where I was like, what other resort? And I posted this in our Facebook group. And I was like, well, where should I stay? And of course I got a whole bunch of responses like, oh, you're not going to get anything 4 months out anyway. So, I'm like, no. Listen, I already have a Saratoga reservation. Where should I try to stay? But I was looking at Riviera, and to your point, a studio from Saratoga to Riviera was like, I don't know, 35 or 40 more points.
Right.
And I was like, that's a lot. Now, I do think there's a certain amount of Skyliner premium built into that, right?
Yeah.
It's the same way the monorail resorts are, right?
Yeah.
So I get that, but it was a lot more points, and I really don't want to spend those kind of points for a resort I only kind of want to stay at, and mostly because it's on the Skyliner.
And I would to go back to that. I feel the same way about Grand Floridian. It's beautiful. I love that resort. We've stayed there cash, but I don't want to waste my points on Grand Floridian.
It's too many. Yeah,
it's too many. So we did Poly, but we did Poly in a studio when we normally do a 1-bedroom. So we normally do a 1-bedroom during our long December trip. So we actually were able to save points, but those studios are huge, and our son was a little younger, so it was. We did 9 nights there, and it was great, but it ended up being less points because we normally do a 1-bedroom. So we kind of justified it that way. But even now, that long trip, having that 1-bedroom, it's nice to have, some couple time once your child goes to sleep.
Yeah, I go. Sorry, Trevor, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, the Poly rooms are definitely, it's a very specific use case. It's like, for us, it's the same thing. We're okay with the studios, and we like the studios because our family's small enough that we can use them. But if I was ever to go with a larger group, I would be looking at 1-bedroom minimum all the way.
But I will say the Riviera bathrooms have the split. They don't have 2 bathrooms like Poly, but they have the 2 showers. Yeah. So they have a bathtub with a shower and then a regular shower. So that does make a difference. But and it's odd because the 1-bedroom doesn't have that. The 1-bedroom just has a soaker tub.
Interesting.
It has a soaker tub and a shower. So there's only 1 shower. So it was odd that they didn't do that in the 1-bedroom. So if you have a larger group, it's almost better to be in a studio at Riviera. Somebody pointed that out in some Facebook group. I don't even remember which one, but they said, it's they don't have that in the 1-bedroom, which I thought was kind of probably a miscalculation on their part, whoever was designing the rooms, where it's beautiful, but practicality wise, it's nicer to have those 2 showers. So I don't know.
That's true. No, that's true. Go ahead, Trevor.
I realized we got
we're totally off topic. Yeah.
So we started at perks, and
don't take over.
Yeah.
This is what happens. We have ADD. That's what the problem is.
Yeah. So we don't have a lot of time left, but I guess what was
our last topic, Trevor? Do we have another topic?
I think we're here. Let me
the free amenities.
Let me bring the banner back up here for a second. So
the charges removed for some in room.
Right.
Oh yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I've never been charged for anything that I've asked for. I've called and gotten towels and blankets and all sorts of stuff, and they've never charged me for them because I've looked. I've never gotten charged for them, but I know people do because I've seen people say that they do. Plus,
I just never asked.
Have you never asked? Okay.
Yeah, and I think I'm just afraid to get charged, so I've just never asked. So I bring my own coffee, but it would be nice because we tend to bring our own coffee for like long trips. But if we're only staying for 2 nights, I don't really want to drag my own coffee. It's nice to have the coffee there. I'll drink the Joffrey's, that they provide to you.
Right.
Well,
yeah. I guess the only thing that I care about is the towels. Like everything else, I don't drink coffee. I don't.
Towels.
Yeah. Having extra towels, I think, that's nice. I'm glad that they're listening to that because I know a lot of we don't go through a ton of towels, but if you're staying there for a week, after about 3 or 4 days, it's like, okay, I do need some clean towels. So I do appreciate that perk for sure.
Well, you could always use the 5-finger discount from walking by the cart,
Drop the cart,
you could do a slick move. I've never seen one of the housekeepers actually standing at the cart, so you could also steal towels from the pool.
Not steal, borrow.
Yeah, no, I'm not taking them home. I know. I mean, let's be clear, not taking them home. But for me, I like I said, I've never been charged for them, but I think it's a good step for them to take because really, truthfully, it's a petty thing to charge for that kind of stuff, right? Like why would they charge for that? Now, does it really cost them that much extra to provide towels to us? Like, is there that much breakage? Is there that much people stealing them? Does it cost that much more to wash these things? I can't imagine it does, right? So the whole idea of them charging for it in the first place just seemed kind of, in a weird way, petty, right? But again, like I said, I had never been charged for it, so I don't know. I'm sure there's some people that have, though.
Yeah.
See, Mary. See, look, Mary also brings the pool towels up to the room too. So I'm not the only one.
Yeah. Or again, doing your own load of towels. I think maybe that was part of it, is that people, they weren't asking for towels and they were going and doing their own laundry, which that was fine too. But again, for me personally, I try even to not do my laundry when I'm there because I feel like it's not a good use of my time.
We do it in the one bedroom, but not so much when we're in the studio.
And the problem in the studio, you have to go downstairs to the room and everything, or at Poly you do. So I'm glad that they're acknowledging that people don't have time to be worrying about towels, but also Disney shouldn't be worrying about towels. Like, just give us some clean towels.
Just give us the towels already. Yeah. It's hot in Florida. We all want to shower a lot. It's gross. Okay. Like, it's really gross out. Me personally, I think this is a great change, and I'm glad they did it with a bunch of stuff, like some of I think it was with like was it laundry detergent too? And there's a couple.
I think it's just everything. It's just, they just removed.
It's all those consumables. So laundry detergent, coffee, towels, and I don't know if I saw anything else on there.
Dish detergent, maybe
the plates, like paper plates and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if paper plates are on there. I'll have to go back and look when we're done.
I just noticed the coffee because that was, like I said, when it's a 2 or 3 day trip, I didn't want to have to stop and buy coffee.
That's fair. And actually, I know when my parents came with us, they actually did use the coffee in our room, and I didn't send them a bill for using our coffee or anything, but
you didn't?
I itemized, you used 3 cups, and no.
That was the one time I used Amazon Prime Now when we were at the Poly, and
I've done that.
I ordered coffee and ground coffee, and I guess the one I selected, there was no ground, so he bought just whole bean. So I got whole bean coffee. I was like, oh, okay, what am I supposed to do with this? I grind it in the room.
Seems kind of useless.
Yeah. So I ended up having to go to the marketplace and get some coffee down there. But
I think I did the opposite, where I ordered from Amazon Prime Now, and I bought like the largest thing of coffee available, because everyone in my family drinks coffee except for me. So I'm like, oh, they'll drink it. And then at the end, we still had half of it left, and all of them were flying, and we were driving, and they were like, why don't you guys take this? I'm like, how about I don't? I don't want this. I'm not going to drink it.
There's DVC Free Cycle on Facebook.
Right.
You can always find someone to gift it to. So.
Although I saw somebody the other day just leaving liquor in the hallway, which is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
I don't know why anyone would do that. But all right, whatever. So anything else that you would like them to make free? I mean, as much as I want to say the package thing, I understand the package thing. There's an actual labor cost to that, right? Of them, they got to pay people to bring that stuff to the fridges and to bring that stuff to us. Like, I get why they charge for that. I don't know, but what else? They don't really nickel and dime too much, I feel like, in DVC that I can think of, besides all these things they just got rid of.
I guess, for all the things that...
Make points free. Yeah. Jody says make points free. I agree.
Right.
I'm with that.
You know what? You're right. I saw somebody earlier say make Club 33 memberships free for DVC members. Great idea. They might lose some money on that idea.
I guess maybe that does say that they're doing something right. If we're all sitting here going, I can't think of anything, like there's no obvious pain point of this thing, they shouldn't be charging us for this, right? So I think that means that they're at least being reasonable in what they're looking at for this is a charge, this is a freebie as part of the service. So I can't say that Disney is perfect, but they're not doing terrible with it.
It never bothered me either that those things were not free. I mean, it was just, I understood it. It's a timeshare. And I mean, it's called a vacation club, but at the end of the day, it is a timeshare. Mm-hmm. We have stayed at the Westgate a couple times. And I've gone to their marketplace, and their marketplace is a lot more expensive. Their items are really, really expensive in the marketplace. If you go to our marketplaces in the resorts, it's pretty reasonable. There's some markup, but they're not a huge markup. I mean, there is a little bit of a premium, but if we run out of milk, I know I can go down to the marketplace and get milk for our son, and it's not going to be, $15 for a half a gallon. So it's reasonable for what it is.
Does anybody actually use the DVC grocery order service that they have, like the one that's through DVC? Like, does anyone use that? I mean, I have never heard of anybody actually using it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, somebody said, I wish we would be able to access the same annual pass options as Florida residents. And I guess that's Alicia, who was supposed to join us. And hi, Alicia. She had some technical difficulties. We tried to get it worked out before the show started, and unfortunately we couldn't get it worked out. So she's still watching us. So hi, Alicia. But that's the reason why she's not here tonight. But I guess you can accept for the silver pass, right? Because you have the gold, you have the silver pass.
Well, I think the reference there is more of the pay monthly option that's only available to Florida residents. Yeah, I think that's probably what she's talking about. But I mean, I could be wrong. Alicia, tell us. But I know that's a sore point for a lot of people. They wish that there was a pay monthly option, which, sure, would be nice. I don't know why they only restrict that to Florida residents. It seems like an odd thing. I'm sure they could figure that out.
I think it's a legality thing, because I know in California, they have for California residents, they can do the payment option too, for the Disneyland pass. So I think that's the reason why. I'm not 100% sure. So.
Oh, I guess there's also.
And the Monday through Friday pass.
Yeah. I read that in a totally different way, but I was like, "What pass is that?"
The abbreviated. Yeah.
Yes, Monday through Friday. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. It is a clean show.
I don't know what you guys are. I kept that to myself, so I don't know what you guys are thinking, but. We should probably wrap this up.
Anybody on the West Coast, I wore my Rise of the Resistance ears. So shout out to the girl that made these for me. Her website's This DF Love. Her Instagram, that's her handle. And I've worn her ears a couple times, but she made these for me. I went to opening day for Rise of the Resistance. So Rise of the Resistance is opening in California on the 17th. So I guess
that's 5 days from now. That's
soon. What is it Friday?
Should be Friday, yeah.
Friday. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm curious what their result is going to be, and what it's going to be like there, and how it's going to look like for both parks in 2 or 3 months.
Yeah. Tom is laughing at Jeremy.
That's a good one.
He's calling the Monday to Friday pass the Samuel L. Jackson pass. If you've ever seen the TV edit of Snakes on a Plane.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's
awesome. Man, this is great. No, so wait, are those little lightsabers crossed on the boat?
Yes.
Is that what I'm seeing? Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, you got to go closer with that because I can't even really see them that well. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, she does. These are custom, so I just tell her she's amazing. I tell her, and she's not too much. She's not that expensive, and you just tell her I want this, and she's very, very creative, more so than I would ever be, and she's done a lot for me. So I told her I was going to Rise of the Resistance on opening day, and she came up with these, which were fun. So
that's awesome.
That's super cool. Yeah.
So that's my collection. I'm adding. I lost part of my wall, came down the other day, so I'm redoing it sometime, probably the next week or so. But we're gearing up for Super Bowl here in South Florida. So the Super Bowl is down here.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because you're in Miami and the Super Bowl's in Miami, right?
Yeah. So
all right.
The festivities, my husband and I were talking, the festivities start in 2 weeks. So they're starting the 25th here. So they start and they're here, I guess, for like probably about 10 days of stuff going on within the South Florida. So I don't know if I'll be here. I'm assuming we're not going to have a show on Super Bowl Sunday. I'll be shocked if we do.
But you'll have to see how Chad feels about that.
I can tell you, I will probably not be on the show on Super Bowl Sunday.
That's fair. Yeah.
There's too much going on,
yeah. Well, my husband has to work, so.
Well, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well,
sorry to be.
Do we want to wrap this up? I'm guessing, we're supposed to keep this to an hour, and per usual, welcome home.
Your welcome home podcast last week was how long?
About 2 hours.
It was well over 2 hours. There's a running joke with my wife where I'll say to her sometimes, I'm like, no, we're going to try to keep it short this week, I swear. And she'll be like, no, sure. Okay. And then next thing you know, it's like 2 hours and
my wife says the same thing. She's like,
I listened to it on Monday. I started on my drive to work and I continued to listen to it on my way home from work. And I don't think it was done by the time I finished when I got home. So
yeah. That's us.
It was great. It was great. I didn't, it was a great podcast. Didn't fast forward. So you guys are always entertaining.
We're glad we provide hours of
it makes the drive go by fast. It makes South Florida traffic go by fast.
We've only ever gotten one complaint, I think, about the podcast being too long, and then all the other comments are always like, "No, you guys need to make more." And it's like, we would love to make more, we just don't have the time to make more. So yeah, but I mean, we have enough time to do 2 hours every 2 weeks, so that's what we try to do. So. But anyway, so if you are listening to this right now and you don't listen to our show and you want to, you can find us like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, all those places you can find podcasts. Search for Welcome Home. You can find us pretty easily. We do have a website that's not very good. So you can check that out if you really want to, is welcomehomepodcast.com. But really just look for us on Facebook, on Welcome Home Podcast. And we also have a group called Welcome Home. Welcome Home DVC Waitlist. I forget what we named it. Yeah. So we also have some side shows called the Waitlist that we do, some different things on. So look for us there. And Shannon, I don't know if there's anything you want to plug before we close this thing.
Just my blog, DisneyDays.com, and my Instagram is Disney Days Family. So you can find me there, and that's it. And you can find me here probably next Sunday.
Great. And
both of those groups. So the My DVC Points community, and I'm also a part of your of the Welcome Home waitlist. It's changed a couple times, so I'm trying to keep up. But I'm a part of both groups, and they're a lot of fun. Very positive groups, which is nice.
For sure.
Drama-free group.
Yes.
And I should say, thanks to Chad for letting us take over this week. I hope that he's having a good flight home here from his Disney trip. And thanks for helping us out, Shannon. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
For sure. I hope everybody enjoyed listening. We had a lot of comments come through, so it sounds like people were enjoying themselves. So that's good news. We're glad to hear that. It is. I have to say, Trevor, it's really fun to see some live feedback as we're doing this, as opposed to just not hearing about it until 2 weeks or until a couple days later. So,
yeah.
But anyway, thank you all. So this was my DVC Points, and we appreciate you guys watching.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
See you later.